University of Central Florida for the 2017 American Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship. We would like to remind all fans that the American Athletic Conference and the University of Central Florida encourages and promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or ethnic comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to UCF Soccer Complex at the University of Central Florida for the 2017 American Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Championship. We ask at this time if you would please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with our national anthem.
Day 2 of the 2017 American Women's Soccer Championship on the campus of UCF. Only 4 teams remain, a doubleheader semifinal here on the UCF Soccer and Track and Field Complex, as it's the number 6 seed SMU taking on the number 2 seed USF in what should be a spectacular matchup. And as we take a look at the bracket, SMU looking to continue their Cinderella story after taking down Cincinnati by a score of 1-0 yesterday. And the final will be on ESPN News Sunday, November 5th. The second half of the doubleheader will feature the host UCF and the number 4 seed Memphis after their triumph over UConn a couple of days ago. And we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Pregame, Tyler Terrence along with Matt Stubbington. And Matt, SMU, after a great win, come into this matchup, and the age-old question remains, is it the team who has the rest that has the upper hand, or the team who has the momentum?
Well, in this case, I think it might be the team with the momentum, because SMU are on a great run of form. They're unbeaten in 5 matches, haven't been scored on in 5 matches. Having said that, USF are having a great run of form of themselves. They haven't lost in 7 either. So it's going to be interesting, but I think SMU, having that confidence from the win on Wednesday, might have the upper hand going into today's game.
And a couple of very important keys for both sides. And for SMU, it's really about playing a complete game. They floated in and out of the quarterfinal matchup.
Well, there's always an ebb and flow to the game of soccer, but SMU, they have to make sure that they play the complete game. They had a great 10 minutes on either end of each half on Wednesday, so they need to make sure they play the full 90 minutes and make sure they keep their team shape offensively. At times, they just got a little bit flat didn't expand on the offensive side of the game. They need to do that to be successful this afternoon.
And on the other side for USF, the number 2 seed, it's about creating width and maintaining the pressure and establishing dominance.
Well, you have to have width to get into the back line of your opposition, spread them wide, create the passing lanes, and that's what USF will want to do this afternoon, and maintain the pressure. If they can do that, that will put SMU into that defensive mindset a little bit, and then the Bulls can get on the front foot and try and put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, putting the ball in the back of the net has been difficult for all teams in the American, going up against Katie Brown. Over 450 minutes of shutout soccer. She's been brilliant so far for them.
Well, she's a fantastic goalkeeper. She has that ability to make the big saves. She's got good range, plays bravely, and has the ability to play the geometry of the position really well. Not only that, she's great distribution-wise, and don't be surprised if she takes some of those free kicks, pumping the ball into the offensive half, because she's got a great, strong right leg.
And for USF, somebody who was actually voted the preseason player of the year, Evelyn Bien, has been absolutely phenomenal up front for the Bulls.
A fantastic player, has really developed over the course of the season. She has the ability to find her teammates, hence she's got 7 assists, but she also has the ability to find the back of the net as well. She's very calm on the ball, good with her back to goal, finds those teammates to set them up, but also has the ability to turn her defender and take the snapshot. Really difficult to defend.
First team All-American Athletic Conference this season, as it is going to be USF and SMU to do battle for a right for the championship matchup. Stay with us here on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Just about ready for kickoff in the semifinal matchup between the 6 seed SMU and the 2 seed USF. Tyler Terrence along with Matt Stubbington, and of course the third member of our crew, Haley Outen. Haley?
Chance to catch up with both head coaches here in the warm-ups today, both USF head coach Denise Schulte-Brown and SMU head coach Chris Petroselli. First on the USF side, as you mentioned it, the Bulls won this matchup in the regular season 3-2, but when I talked to Coach Schulte-Brown, she said, they let them get back in this game, and in large part that's because the Mustangs put a ton of pressure on their back line. They kind of felt pinned in and they couldn't really get out. She also said they did a good job finding that weak side ball, kind of using a target and getting the ball back and slipping it through, so just something to keep an eye on for today. On the SMU side, Coach said that the back four needs to be solid. Last time they were facing injuries, they looked unsettled in the back, and the key is going to be stopping Evelyn Bien, whom you all mentioned, from turning and getting into those gaps.
Thanks a lot, Haley, and it certainly is going to be a tall task trying to stop Evelyn Bien, who was actually voted the preseason player of the year. Matt, and as we take a look at these two teams, SMU, like we mentioned before, great performance against Cincinnati on Wednesday. Allie Thornton with a wonder goal, possibly a goal of the year in the American Conference. And then USF haven't played yet, but I'm sure we're here during that match against Cincinnati. What can we expect from this game?
It's going to be a really competitive match, and I expect USF to come with the pressure right from the opening kickoff. They saw that SMU struggled once Cincinnati got their feet underneath them, got their game legs, so to speak. And it was the Bears that were in the ascendancy for large parts of that match. But SMU, credit to them, they came back, they got back on the front foot as well, and were able to put that game away. So I think the Bulls will come out with a really big head of steam and try and put the Mustangs under pressure right from the opening whistle.
And for USF, 7-1-1 in conference play, and they are led by none other than Denise Schulte-Brown, 19 years as a head coach. Some of that was spent at VCU, 7 seasons with the Rams, a player at UMBC. Still holds the records of points, goals, and assists as for the Golden Retrievers, as she shakes hands with Chris Petroselli and the rest of the SMU head coaching staff. And she's really done a number on this USF program, ranked number 25th in the country right now, and they will be taking on Chris Petroselli and this SMU Mustang side, who's number 6 seeded in this tournament. Petroselli, 2-time National Coach of the Year, certainly has a high pedigree, and he's looking to take this upset-minded Mustang team to the championship game. They would be the highest seed ever in the history of the American Women's Soccer Championship Tournament to do so. But they have a very difficult side in front of them in this Bulls team. Matt, in your opinion, having watched them a number of times this season, what's the biggest strength of the Bulls team?
Well, the biggest strength is up top. You can't look really past Vienne. She is such a dangerous player. She is the outlet player for the Bulls. If they can find her up top, she's great with her back to goal. She can have a really good touch, softens the ball beautifully, and has the patience for her teammates to come and join her. That's not her only trick. She's good over the top as well. She has the speed to get through the back line, and she's pretty decent 1v1. She's a complete player.
We are underway from the campus of UCF on the Friday here in November, which features the number 6 seed SMU taking on the number 2 seed USF, currently ranked 25th in the country by way of the most recent poll put out. And for SMU, coming off of a terrific win against Cincinnati in the quarterfinal matchup, Allie Thornton had a superb goal from about 25 yards out. Claire Oates set her up perfectly with a nice little cushion header, and Thornton on the half volley was able to put it into the top corner and beat the Cincinnati goalkeeper, and they were able to hang on. Certainly had some nervy moments, but they were able to keep Cincinnati off the scoreboard. Now over 450 minutes of soccer without a goal for the Mustangs side. That header is cleared away initially by the Mustang team, who are going to be dealing with a very dynamic attacking South Florida side, as Matt mentioned just a few moments ago. A little over 2.1 goals per game, only letting in about 1.33. So very sound on the offensive side, and more of the same story on the defensive. And now a deep opportunity for the Bulls to perhaps get an early tally.
Immediately, I'm noticing that the outside backs for the Bulls are getting forwards on the attack, trying to create the width that we talked about in the open, how important that is to be successful in the game of soccer. Interesting lineup here with two groups of 3 players inside the 6 and at the top of the 18.
It's corner kick of the evening for either side, and it's for USF. Little short corner designed play. It gets all the way through. SMU still trying to clear their lines. It along, and it's Claire Oates who's coming away with it. She assisted on the Allie Thornton game-winning goal on Wednesday against Cincinnati. Now it's up the sideline. Mustangs on the move. Claire Thorpe in the USF back line, some troubles, and it'll be a throw in to SMU, their first time in USF territory. All red for Mary Meehan. She was certainly busy in that quarterfinal matchup as well. Cooley into the box, not a bad idea. There's the volley, and it almost was put in. Great work from SMU. It was an early delivery from Jess Cooley, and it just goes wide.
Well, it's a little bit innocuous as the ball went in. Players running away from the goal. I think it might have been Thorpe, the goal scorer from Wednesday, that turned that one towards the USF goal. Fantastic effort on the volley.
SMU had a couple of very early opportunities against Cincinnati. Almost found a breakthrough in the first 2 minutes of play, as Vienne was trying to square that through for Aubrey McGrath. McGrath had 2 goals against the Mustangs last time these two teams met during the regular season. It was a 5-goal thriller. Finished 3-2 in favor of USF. They got the first 3 goals of the match, but SMU clawed their way back into the game, as Haley mentioned before. Not 2 goals, but could not find the third. Pitching with the other goal for USF, and then it was Allred and Heron with the tallies for SMU. Sabrina Wagner trying to find Evelyn Vienne. And just a sophomore, but already in top 5 in the history of scoring the Bulls program. 26 goals to her name. Not even a full complete 2 years in the NCAA. Here's Wagner again. Gonna work on Meehan. Comes out wide for the freshman Kitching. That's about one of our keys to the game, Matt, for USF, and that was maintaining pressure. And early on, they're doing a good job.
Certainly are. They're managing to get the ball off of those 50-50 challenges. Smart with their possession. Again, for the most part, they're finding their way out into the outside channels as well.
SMU couldn't connect the dots there. Mustangs looking to head back to the championship match for the second year in a row. Fell to UConn 1-0 in the final a year ago. Actually, the first time a team had won the Women's American Championship tournament. Previous finals were decided in penalty kicks. Obviously, the game ending in a draw as far as regulation and overtime were concerned. But the Huskies ousted a very dynamic attacking crew in Memphis on Wednesday night. Kayla Morton with 2 goals. Elizabeth Warner with the other. And it's Memphis and the host UCF in the second half of this doubleheader right here on the American Digital Network. Here's Cheyenne Dennis. Spent some time with the US U17 national team.
And it's indicating she needs to settle down a little bit. Her movement was really nice as the ball went back to the goalkeeper, Elliott.
Here's Vienne on the turn. Evelyn Vienne looking to take on the SMU defense. Thompson with the tackle. No call from the referee. There's the shot. And it's just over the bar. Good defending from Catherine Herron, who was just able to divert Evelyn Vienne just enough.
There's evidence of the strength and the vision of the player. She's going to the turf, but she still has the ability to get the ball out wide on the pass. Beautifully done by Vienne. The shot just needed to be on target.
And this is our player to watch for the Mustangs, Katie Brown.
I think it was McGrath on the shot. She just tried to pass the ball. In the end, was a little bit too tentative. Ended up leaning back on her effort, and it went over the crossbar.
Mentioned during the pregame, Katie Brown, 5 straight shutouts. They entered this tournament with 4 and then got a 5th against Cincinnati on Wednesday. For 450 minutes of soccer without a goal being let in. And this is a side that is riding a massive wave of momentum heading into the postseason. There's Claire Oates on the move. Going to just dink it over the top. There to hang out to is Kat Elliott, senior goalkeeper out of Bradenton, Florida.
There's Claire Oates, number 18, tall player, rangy. Target on set pieces, can be dominant in the air, but she's also the linchpin in that defensive midfield role that she plays.
Could be a foul called against USF. Jessica Hamrick, culprit on that particular instance, and a good set piece opportunity here for the Mustangs. And take another look at the foul on Claire Oates, and trotting over to take the free kick for SMU is none other than Haley Thompson. No goals on the season, but 7 assists. She is a set-piece specialist by nature. Thompson floating it towards the back post. Not a bad ball, as USF are able to handle it comfortably in the form of Kat Elliott.
Well defended there by the balls. Lots of players around the ball. So important to try and get on the end of it. Don't allow the ball to drop in your defensive area.
Now the SMU outside backs doing a good job of pinning in this USF Bulls defense as well as their midfield. And Dennis with a cool head, finding her central midfielder. Ocean Parr trying to find the feet of Vienne. Came in a little bit too hot. Parr trying to get on the second ball, able to bring it down. All through, but off of her line is Katie Brown. Not a bad idea from USF.
McGrath over on that far sideline did a really good job of staying onside. She initially took off, realized that she was going to stray into an offside position, tailed her run just enough to stay onside as Hawks' daughter played the ball forwards. Look at the range of Katie Brown and the intelligence of the goalkeeper to come out beautifully to make the save.
Just Cooley can't keep that in play. Another throw in for USF. 6-1-0 at home this season. 5-2-1 away from Corbett Stadium.
Shirley Brown off of the bench. Instructions to the players, wanting balls to have options on the passes to go forwards.
Nashmi and to send it through. Work from the USF back line to stay positioned defensively. Here's Vienne looking to turn the corner. Aaron got a piece of Vienne, and it will be a foul going the other way.
And Vienne so good with a back to goal, makes those checking runs into space, receives the passes to feet, turns the player well. And Aaron just clumsy foul there, slows things down. Not the best choice from Heron to go to ground. She had plenty of players around her. The shape was good for SMU. This allows the Bulls an opportunity to serve the ball into the box.
50 yards away from goal. It's a floated free kick. Vienne gets a foot to it. Now Kitching trying to get there. Sliding challenge from Claire Oates. No call from the referee. Good pressure from USF, but it'll be an SMU throw-in. Dangerous tackle from Oates, but she got it right.
Absolutely to perfection did she get it right. The timing was good. The touch on the ball was fantastic. The clearance. Now Chris Petroselli, a sigh of relief on the bench for SMU.
Hawksdaughter along for Kitching. Great little move to rid the first defender. Back for Hawksdaughter. Almost got through Claire Oates, but just a bit too heavy on the touch. Haley Thompson clears it away, but only as far as Ocean Parr. She's working on Blair Thorpe. Look at the speed from Parr trying to turn the corner, but Thorpe times the tackle to perfection.
Looking down at the fourth official, he just saw that Vienne pushed Heron to the ground. May have been an innocuous collision between the two players. The referee's having a word now. Could have been a huge moment if that had been seen in the wrong light.
Coach Schulte Brown is motioning to the fourth official, saying that that's not her first offense, but rather her second. Vienne, long ball over the top, trying to find McGrath as Brown is off of her line. McGrath got to it first, but eventually cleared away by Nashmi. Great last-ditch defending from SMU, but McGrath was able to beat Brown to the ball.
Big decision from the goalkeeper to come out and try and claim this. If you're going to come out on the bouncing ball, you got to make sure you're going to get there. She was nowhere near it, but bailed out by her defense, by Nashmi. Good job from the left outside back.
Very physical up and down start here on the campus of UCF. Probably what we could have expected with a trip to the final on the line.
A lot to play for this afternoon.
You have to imagine that SMU, if they aren't to win this tournament and get the automatic bid from the American, that NCAA berth might be out of reach, just given their overall record of 9-6-3 on the other side for USF. A large bid could be a possibility. Certainly not a certainty. Only ranked 25th in the country. Thompson. Finding Thorpe. Thorpe trying to go over the top, but Kat Elliott off of her line. And a sort of sweeper keeper with USF playing a little bit of a higher line. And for more on Kat Elliott, we'll head down to the third member of our crew, Haley Outen. Haley?
Well, Kat Elliott is one of, a few seniors on this team. This is a very young roster, and Coach Schulte Brown before the game just talked about how Elliott's leadership has been key this year, but almost in a way before the season started, she put a lot of pressure on herself being one of the only veterans on this team. She's been a mainstay in the lineup since 2015, but she's really starting to settle into her role here this season when it counts most in the postseason.
Thanks a lot, Haley. And just 3 seniors are in this starting lineup for USF tonight. Kat Elliott, Ocean Parr, as well as Jessica Hamrick. As Haley mentioned, many seniors on this roster, and the majority of the starting lineup made up of sophomores and freshmen. a single junior in the lineup for the Bulls. It's Ocean Parr, one of the 3 seniors. Pass is intercepted. Possession here from SMU. Claire Oates with a fizzing ball to find Mary Meehan. Bit of a heavy first touch. Kitching providing the pressure. Tackle from Jess Cooley, and then finally a foul is called. Denise Schulte-Brown off of her seat.
The whistle was a little delayed in coming from Casio Ribeiro, the center ref. Certainly a strong challenge by Jessica Cooley, the right fullback for SMU. There's a nice sequence of play from both teams in the middle third of the pitch. 1- and 2-touch passes, lots of rhythm to the game. Good to see.
Latier LaRoche with a nice little dink to create some space for South Florida. Over the top for McGrath. She's been busy on that far right side. Squares it across. Takes a deflection. And it will be a corner for the Bulls, their second of the afternoon.
USF have 3 players up top, creating that width. McGrath on that right flank has been busy, as you said, trying to exploit the outside channel. Wasn't able to beat the left fullback in Nashimi on that occasion.
Well, McGrath certainly no stranger to scoring against the Mustangs. 2 goals in the regular season against Chris Petroselli's side. Another set piece opportunity for USF. Do have another option short. Will come directly in, but never going to trouble anybody, and a goal kick coming for Katie Brown.
It was a very poor set piece there from Hawk's daughter. Expect better from her. Talented player in the center midfield position for the Bulls.
Hawksdaughter with 8 assists on the season. Along with 4 goals, but just one of those goals have come in conference play. He's usually feeding the likes of McGrath and Vienne. Dennis misplayed that one. Could be a chance here for SMU, but look at the recovery speed from the freshman Cheyenne Dennis, and then eventually cleared away by Kat Elliott.
The footwork as she went to clear the ball was poor, but the footwork to recover was really, really good. Got goal side very quickly.
USF trying to play out. Good pressure, however, from Allie Thornton, who was the hero on Wednesday. Game winner against Cincinnati. Haley Thompson striding forward. Going to pick a teammate out. Eventually has to go negative for Claire Oates. Let's hear LaRoche with good pressure, but couldn't get rid of it. However, it will stay with USF.
Claire Oates just too long on the ball there. Allowed herself to be closed down by Pelletier LaRoche.
Great step there from Nashmi. He's had a couple of fine defensive plays early on. Sent along for Allred. Hawksdaughter. Hawksdaughter again, looking for an option, and she's going to go all the way back for Cheyenne Dennis. SMU doing a good job of clogging up the middle, not allowing USF to penetrate and break defensive lines. However, that's a late challenge from Jessica Cooley. She's got her palms up in the air. A little perplexed by the call, but it will be a free kick for USF.
The use of the body there by Kitching. Number 7 for USF. Was riding the challenge from Cooley. The right fullback was a little bit unfortunate to get the call go against her, but a lot of physicality out there from both teams.
Hawksdaughter, the Iceland native, on top of the free kick for USF. It's a floated ball. Dennis trying to get there to send it back across. It'll fall for McGrath. McGrath trying to get around Nashmi. Good defending from Nashmi, however, she does concede a corner.
Second set piece in a row that Hawksdaughter has taken, and the service just hasn't been of the quality that's needed. Wind is blowing from left to right as we look at the field. And at times it looks a little bit gusty, so maybe that's throwing her off a little bit, but that was a floated ball outside of the box, and if Dennis hadn't been there and an SMU player had won that, it would have opened things up for a counterattack.
A little design set piece for Denise Schulte-Brown's side. Great pressure, though, from SMU. Again, it's Jessica Cooley on that far side. She was one of the players sent out for SMU, and the rule of thumb usually, man, is if corner kick taking team is going to have 2 players on top of the ball, you also need to send 2 to avoid the numerical disadvantage. Absolutely.
You've got that hash mark 10 yards away from the corner flag, so that's as close as you can be as the defender. And some teams will send 1 defender out routinely, but certainly if there are 2 players out there, you need 2 defenders to take away that threat.
Less than 25 minutes remaining in this first semifinal between the 6th seed SMU and the number 2 seed USF. The spot for the championship game is on the line. SMU looking to become the highest seed ever to reach the American championship game.
So the coach Schulte-Brown, she's telling her players, the midfielders, who to pick up. She's concerned that the central midfield players, the holding players, are dropping too deep. And in doing so, you get right on top of your back line, and therefore you don't allow yourself the option of an outlet pass, because essentially you become 5 across the back or 6 across the back if you're playing with 2 holding midfielders. It makes it very difficult to get the ball going forwards, and you end up just knocking it long. And if your forwards aren't getting on the end of the possession, you end up looking down. A lot of ball played straight at you.
Cooley trying to go along, and for more on SMU's possession, we'll head down to Haley Outen once more. Haley?
Well, down here you can hear Coach Petrucelli yelling, keep the ball, don't just kick it, find feet. And, you know, that's how this SMU Mustang team likes to play. They didn't really get to execute that style so much against Cincinnati on Wednesday night, but, you know, that's going to definitely be a key here today as well. Just, it's no secret that USF's a little bit fresher than the Mustangs, so keeping the ball, not chasing it, let the ball do the work.
Thank you very much, Haley. And indeed, it was a very physical matchup against Cincinnati on Wednesday, with both teams having plenty of opportunities. But there was never really a flow to the game, and we heard Chris Petrucelli during halftime of that match saying that it wasn't really much of a soccer game. The ball was constantly running out of bounds, and there were fouls called basically every other minute or so, and they failed to get into a rhythm. But this game seems to be a lot crisper.
It is, and the main difference that I've noticed between today's game and the game that we saw on Wednesday is that SMU are switching the point of attack. Claire Oates, that holding midfielder, has been able to get into space and relieve the pressure from the back line, but also switch the ball from right to left and left to right on the field of play.
The tackle from Meehan. Hawksdaughter almost threading the needle, putting it on a silver platter for McGrath, but cut out by the SMU back line. Hannah Fleet getting ready to come on for the Mustangs. McGrath pressuring Nashmi. Ocean Parr with a decent step. Mustangs cough up possession. Another good step there from Heron. Harrington trying to turn upfield as Allred was looking to shield off the defender. USF looking to outdo themselves from a year ago. Lost in the semis to UConn in 2016. Here's an opportunity. It's off the crossbar. Great chance for VN. Hawksdaughter still on top of it. Kitching has some space to deliver the ball back into the box. VN bringing it down. Hawksdaughter lining it up, blocked in front by Meehan. Goal frame is still shaking from that shot. R back into the box. Cooley was trying to clear it away. Finally gets it to Mary Meehan. She sends it up the sideline. A little bit of a late challenge there from Pelletier La Roche. And it will be a foul going the other way after the referee saw there was no advantage to be played. We'll take another look at that wicked shot.
There's the skill of Vienne just dropping the right shoulder, pushing the ball past the defender, opening just half a step of a shooting lane. The power of the right foot. Goalkeeper stood no chance. Katie Brown is very thankful that that bar was atop of her, and I think it's finally stopped vibrating.
Katie Brown on the free kick for SMU. She does have a very strong leg, sends it all the way into USF territory. Harrington back for Cooley. Chips it over the top, but easy work for Kat Elliott.
Yeah, the communication from the goalkeeper up here. What you want as a center back, good clear communication from your keeper. Let you know that you can leave the ball if you have to.
Hawksdaughter. To get it away from Oates. That was Haley Thompson, who was in a very advanced position. This one sent in a bit too far out of Vienne's reach. Dennis back into SMU territory. Bulls really starting to flex their muscles now. Meehan just trying to help it along. And finally, those SMU substitutes are going to come on, as well as a USF substitute. It's going to be Hannah Fleet and Haley Bishop for the Mustangs. And then on the other side for USF, Kylie Burrows, a redshirt freshman from Plant City, Florida. A goal and 2 assists with just 3 starts this season for Denise Schulte-Brown. Hannah Fleet for the Mustangs was integral in helping the Mustangs get their goal against Cincinnati on Wednesday. She came off the bench and provided a ton of pressure and energy on the Bearcat defense, which eventually led to the Allie Thornton bomb from about 25 yards out.
Meehan has switched to the left wing now for USF.
Dennis and Burney, a little two-man game there. Over the top for McGrath, who was switched over to this near left side. Ball stayed in play for a moment, and it'll eventually be a goal kick for Katie Brown. Good defending from Jess Cooley. Brown hasn't had to make a save yet, but the crossbar did.
She had to make the save, but she had no chance. The ball just fizzed past her. And when the ball was coming back past her off the crossbar, she was still putting her arms up. It was hit with so much power from Vienne.
And it will be a corner for the Bulls. We talked about our keys to the game for both sides during the pregame show, Matt. For USF, it seems like they're sticking to them.
They are getting out wide, using those outside channels with quite a bit of success. Again, that's spreading out that SMU back line, making it very difficult to be compact defensively.
Hawksdaughter on the corner kick. The wind has died down just a little bit, but still coming from left to right. It's a much better ball in from the Icelandic native. McGrath couldn't get her shot through. And this on the second ball. Good pressure from Thorpe. Falls back for the senior Ocean Parr. Back for Hawksdaughter. Fakes the first delivery. Now driving towards goal. Hawksdaughter across, blocked by Haley Thompson. Once more for Ocean Parr. Meehan gets there. Right to the foot of Sabrina Wagner. She sends it in, but the offside flag is up. USF really starting to establish dominance, as that was some nervy moments for the SMU side.
Well, the ball's starting to put the pressure on, keep the pressure on. And SMU are just dropping back further and further defensively. And if they win the ball in their defensive third, they don't have the outlet because everybody is back playing defense and behind the ball. somehow, some way, they have to leave at least one player out of the box, Tyler, so that they can have somebody to pass the ball to, and hopefully to slow things down and work the ball up the pitch. They're able to do that, find each other to feet. They look pretty good.
Latier LaRoche couldn't get that pass right. Bishop has her pass cut out by Ocean Parr. She's been very sound defensively the first portion of this first half. The end pressuring, cleared away by Heron. All the way back to Cheyenne Dennis. Cooley getting that one out. Along for Meehan. Can she keep it in play? Yes.
It was a great step up defensively from Cooley. She just has to have the confidence to keep going on the overlap run. She curtailed her movement forwards and really stopped the attack for SMU because she got in the way of the ball that was going to be aimed out towards Meehan. Cooley just needs to have the confidence of, I've won the ball, I've started the offense, let me get into the attacking third, get some bodies forwards.
Bree Blethen checking in, the sophomore from Bradenton, Florida, for USF. And on the other side for SMU, it's Katia Novi with 1 goal on the season. Game winner against Cincinnati back during the regular season in a 1-0 decision against the Bearcats. McGrath with some physical play. Heron standing her ground and earns a foul.
And USF, known as a very physical team. Clumsy challenge in the end from McGrath, sorry. My M's mixed up. Meehan, of course, is number 7 on SMU. McGrath just needs to keep her arms down, not put them up into the shoulder blades of the player she's playing against.
Nisa Ibrahim getting ready to come on for Denise Schulte-Brown. It's Cooley once more, pressed by Jessica Hamrick. Fleet trying to turn upfield. Fizzing ball across. Novi couldn't quite get there. Idea from Allie Thornton. Latier LaRoche was tripped up along midfield. USF trying to play quickly. Harrington wisely stepping in front of the ball to slow things up.
Got to be a little bit careful doing that because you earn yourself a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct if you get too close.
And this clips it into the box. Vienne posting up once more. Vienne trying to turn the corner. Put her hands up looking for a foul. Maybe it was getting her jersey tugged at. Meehan, very clever touch. Fleet couldn't get the return right. Another great step there from the SMU back line. It just seems like USF are having a tough time connecting the dots, or maybe just SMU are reading it.
A little bit of telegraph on the pass, but you got to make sure that you're going to get there. And on that occasion, Heron stepped up very nicely.
Vienne, beautiful challenge. USF are in business. Vienne with a shot. It's off the post and in. Evelyn Vienne with a brilliant individual effort. And USF are on the board. It's 1-0 to the Bulls.
Well, Heron just stepped up and took the ball off of the foot of Vienne, and Vienne basically just looked like she's had enough. I'm going to take the ball off of you. I'm going to go to the ground, pick it up fantastically well, measure the shot, and the power just goes past the goalkeeper, Brown, unable to keep it out of net. And for the first time in 5 games and a little bit more, SMU have been scored on.
11th goal of the season for Vienne. And there wasn't really much of a celebration. You could just tell she was sort of exhausted. It was a very taxing few minutes or so for Evelyn Vienne, but it certainly paid off. And USF, the great goal as we approach the final moments of the first half.
As you described, it was a fantastic individual effort. It was almost as if she just had enough of Heron picking her pocket and decided that she was going to make amends and make a statement, and boy, did she make a statement.
Some of the Mustang faithful were asking for a foul, but it was a very clean challenge from Vienne. Big switch over for Burrows. Bishop is there. Burrows with some physical play of her own. Assistant referee would look like he was going to raise his flag initially. Stays in play. Novi tangled up with Burrows. Still going at it a little bit, and that forces the referee to calm things down. It will be a free kick for the Mustangs.
One thing the Bulls do really well is that they read when the challenges are coming. They set themselves, keep their balance low, and able to ride out the impact. Saw an example of it there from Burrows. But on the other side of the ball, the outside back for SMU did a pretty good job herself. Nashmi. Again, frustration for the Bulls, boiled over, and a silly foul from Burrows, giving the possession back to the Mustangs.
A couple of subs getting ready to come on for either team. It's Harrington. Cooley. Grath stepping in beautifully and intercepting the pass, and then Cooley with a bit of a frustration foul.
Cooley just waited for the ball too long. She needs to be a bit more aggressive to the pass. See the tug of the shirt there from Cooley on McGrath.
Here's Dennis. Jessica Hamrick. Defending from Meehan. And it's going to end up being a goal kick. Probably would have been a foul, but the goal kick is more advantageous for the Mustangs.
Coach Shelty Brown encouraging Sabrina Wagner, the left fullback for USF, to go forwards in the attack. That's good refereeing there. It's a clumsy challenge deep in the Bulls attacking third.
And
referee coming over and saying no more of that, otherwise you'll go in the book, young lady.
And a Seabold coming on for USF. Junior from Tampa. Again with some more bullish work. She's looking for a foul, not going to get any sympathy from the referee. Claire Oates looking for an option, just trying to direct traffic. Or giving chase fresh onto the pitch, and Kat Elliott clearing it away. That seems to be the issue for SMU early on when they do win the ball back from this very talented USF group. Doesn't really seem to be many options going forward.
That's what we talked about in the open. They have to keep their shape. It's tough because of the pressure that they've been under defensively from the Bulls. The good teams compact themselves defensively quickly and spring forwards offensively equally as quickly. At the moment, SMU aren't transitioning quite as nicely as they need to.
Now a free kick coming up for Haley Thompson and SMU. Thompson more than capable of quality service, 7 assists on the season. Center back steps up. Loaded ball in. Hamrick gets there first for the Bulls. Big collision there on the far side. A couple of players hit the deck for either team.
Hawk's daughter for the Bulls was one of them.
More for SMU. As the clock does stop. And medical attention being waved onto the field. That'll allow Coach Shelty Brown to call her players over to have a little chat before the halftime whistle. And the same for the Mustangs, as we have about 7.5 minutes remaining in this first semifinal between the 6 seed SMU and the 2 seed USF. And as we take a look at the bracket as it stands right now, it'd be USF heading on to the championship game on Sunday, November 5th, 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News. And obviously, if SMU can't find an equalizer, USF will await the winner of Memphis and UCF. UCF, quite simply, one of the best teams in the country. Firmly ranked 6th in the latest poll, 5th in the country in scoring, averaging close to 3 goals a game.
UCF, a very talented team obviously will want to defend their home field advantage in this tournament against the Mustangs. The Mustangs can play with the freedom that the inventiveness going forwards that they did on Wednesday. It's going to be a really tough game for the Knights tonight.
Well, last time UCF hosted this tournament, came away as champions. I have an interesting fact, though. The Allie Thornton goal against Cincinnati on Wednesday in that first quarterfinal matchup was the first goal in regulation that the tournament has seen when it's been hosted here in Orlando, as none of the games finished in regulation in 2013. You see Denise Schulte-Brown offering some words of wisdom, and the card is going to come out here as more are still down. And we are going to head to a break just for a few moments. Stay with us here on the American Digital Network.
At SMU, students and faculty work hand in hand to shape answers to real-world challenges.
Yes, there's no such thing as a lesser person.
How can we strengthen human rights around the world?
It turns out computer malware is extremely...
How do we prevent cyber terrorism?
The limb comes off.
How can the human body set new records of performance? What can presidents teach us about leadership? From the SMU campus in Dallas, we're shaping the answers that will shape the future of the world.
There are other people just like you. Driven, determined. Those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
Back here on the campus of UCF, and you can see the look from Robin Maurer. Just utterly distraught and in some pain. Allie Wynn came onto the game for Maurer. Maurer, a sophomore out of Fullerton, California, and came onto the field just a few moments ago. And suddenly off the field with looks like a pretty serious injury, so we obviously wish her a very speedy recovery. But back to the action here on the campus of UCF as SMU looking to perhaps get an equalizer before the halftime whistle. Kat Elliott off of her line. Hasn't really been tested yet, Kat Elliott, this afternoon.
Hasn't been asked to do too much. Back line, the back four in front of her have done a pretty good job. She has had to do is essentially what she just did then, is read the balls through and come out and collect cleanly. And she'll be very grateful if that's all she has to do for the remainder of this match.
There's Thornton. Some nifty footwork to hang on to the ball. Finding the substitute Wynn, who comes inside. Good challenge. Thornton again. Out wide for Jess Cooley. Novi couldn't get there. Good step from Sabrina Wagner. Dennis applying the pressure. We've hit a little bit of the doldrums here at the end of the first half, Matt. As sometimes at the end of any half of soccer, play will slow down a little bit, and obviously with the injury, both teams sort of thrown out of the rhythm.
Great opportunity, though, if one of the teams can wake up from those doldrums to get a scoring opportunity.
Wagner. Trying to turn out of it was Siebold. Coming on now is Leah Fernland, freshman from Jacksonville. No starts, but does have a goal and an assist in 11 appearances.
To laugh, Coach Schulte-Brown thought that there was an opportunity for the balls to charge down the left flank off of the throw-in. She'd already made the decision for the substitution, and that took that opportunity away from USF. And it's a little bit frustration from the head coach of the Bulls as she realized that her own tactical decision-making had taken an attacking opportunity away from her team.
Hawksdaughter with some space. Hawksdaughter going for goal. Not a bad effort. And it's just over the bar. Andrea Hawksdaughter saw some daylight and decided why not, and it almost paid off.
That's a really nice job. Just opens up her hips, sees that Brown is slightly off of her line. Goalkeeper gets back to the goal line nicely. She would have been struggling if that had been a couple of yards lower.
Just Wynn. Come on for the injured Robin Maurer. And a Fleet. Through for Wynn. Flag stays down. Good defending from Wagner, though.
One thing I've noticed from the Mustangs is that when they're getting into their attacking third, they're receiving the ball with their back to goal a lot. Somehow they have to find a way to get that ball collected more cleanly and face up the defenders. They're just not able to do that. Consequently, they haven't troubled the ball's net at all.
Ibrahim taken down, and a free kick now for the Bulls. More than 3 minutes left here in this first semifinal of the 2017 American Women's Soccer Championship. Wagner cutting up Katianovi. Wagner into the box. Great ball. Brown came off of her line, still loose. But Allie Wynn coming back for defensive responsibilities. Burrows with great pressure wins it back for the Bulls. Bernie stepping forward. USF looking for number 2 maybe before the half, but Katie Brown off of her line. And you talked about one of these teams possibly waking up. It looked like the Bulls had woken for a moment.
Certainly did. Brown, a good save off of the cross. What about her bravery? It's what you have to have as a goalkeeper in traffic going to the ball.
And Bernie just telling Kat Elliott to slow down and force an SMU player to put some pressure on the ball. Schulte, Brown's crew will be very happy to head into the locker room up 1-0 thanks to a superb individual effort from Evelyn Vienne. That's along the sideline for Siebold. Heron, good defensive work. A foul from the referee. It will be a throw-in, though, for USF. Heron is down and not exactly pleased with the no call.
Her outside back, Jessica Cooley, just turns around to the referee and says, that's not a foul? Lots of pressure from the Bulls, and I think the Heron was going to ground as she tried to clear that ball, hence there was no free kick forthcoming from the official.
And we'll head down to the third member of our crew, Haley Outen, who has more on that injury on Robin Maurer.
Yeah, just an update on Robin. They appear to be working on her right ankle. The cleat is off, and she appears to be in a pretty decent amount of pain, but definitely a right ankle injury.
Thank you, Haley, and a speedy recovery to Robin as she continues to get looked at on the sideline here on the campus of UCF. One more chance left in it for either side. SMU trying to find the equalizer and looking to keep this Cinderella story going after upsetting the number 3 seed Cincinnati in the quarterfinal on Wednesday. Good step there from Haley Bishop, and then fouled from behind, and fouled hard by Kylie Burrows. Referee's going to stop the clock. I have to imagine it's going to be a card of some sort for Burrows. Maybe just a stern talking to.
Well, it's a second strong foul from Burrows since she came into the action. Cannot make that challenge like that from behind. She knew immediately that there was a free kick coming.
And it looked like Bishop fell on that right shoulder with the challenge behind from Burrows. It's not going to be a card for number 33, as now Bishop gets tended to by the athletic trainer from SMU, who's certainly getting a workout here towards the end of the first half. First it was Robin Maurer, and now Bishop, who they're taking a look at.
She's got a brace on her left arm, covering the elbow area. And the athletic trainer indicating that a substitution needs to be made. Which is a very strong challenge. Bishop does actually go down on her right side, not the left, but either way, it was a huge impact with the turf. And she comes to the sideline.
And coming on for the Mustangs to replace Bishop is Sophie Adler, the freshman from Alexandria, Virginia.
Katie Brown, the goalkeeper, is in the attacking half for the Mustangs to take this free kick.
Brown sends it into the box. A great ball, giving problems to the Bulls' back line, but it goes over everybody. And that might just do it for the first half here in Orlando. USF with the 1-goal advantage, thanks to Evelyn Vienne. Her 11th goal of the season, 27th of her career, and she's just a sophomore, folks. Very bright future ahead for this young Bull.
The fact that she is able to keep doing that job so successfully. What impresses me, though, Tyler, is that she's getting the assists as well. So she's involved not just in the goals that she scores, but the goals that others do as well.
Cooley with good pressure. Maybe one last chance here for SMU. Novi has her pass cut out. And that is most likely going to do it here in the first half. USF with the slight advantage heading into the locker room here at the UCF Track and Field and Soccer Complex. Evelyn Vienne with the lone tally of this one. At Stubbington, we head to halftime, and it's USF who has really stuck to that game plan of trying to maintain the pressure as well as using width to create. And standing by with head coach of USF, Denise Schulte-Brown, is Haley Outen.
Coach, it seemed like your group was knocking on the door offensively in that first half, finally able to capitalize. Evelyn Vienne was on a great effort play. How does that kind of change the momentum of the game, being able to get a goal on the board in the first half?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Obviously, I think we had 5 corner kicks. It's tough to score on this team off corners, but we're producing those opportunities. I'd like to see when we're on the end line and we're cutting it back that we're putting some of those away. It would be nice to have a bigger lead at this point because I think the girls have earned it. But you know, we just got to keep knocking on the door. Evelyn was working really, really hard. I still think on our build we can be more patient. If we change the point of attack more often, then we can shift their team and open up that lane a little bit more. But we're very impatient. I think it's just the time of year and the excitement of the semifinals. But I think we can be much better on the ball and calm down and play better soccer.
You've been up against this SMU team before, and they were able to work their way back in. What is your message going to be at halftime so that this team doesn't become complacent?
You know, this team is dangerous on every set piece, so it's just, can you stay switched on and focused? I think we're really doing a good job on the first balls and giving great cover on the second, so I feel really good about the run of play, unless, you know, Coach Petroselli changes something. But other than that, it's really just the focus of set pieces are really important.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you in the second half.
Thanks a lot, Haley. And you heard it there from Coach Denise Schulte-Brown, feeling her team maybe deserves a little bit bigger of a lead. SMU might feel hard done as they head into the locker room down 1-0 to the number 2 seed USF. Stay with us here on the American Digital Network.
At SMU, students and faculty work hand in hand to shape answers to real-world challenges.
Yes, there's no such thing as a lesser person.
How can we strengthen human rights around the world?
It turns out computer malware is extremely...
How do we prevent cyber terrorism?
The limb comes off.
How can the human body set new records of performance? What can presidents teach us about leadership? From the SMU campus in Dallas, we're shaping the answers that will shape the future of the world.
Whether it's superstition or team tradition, the SMU women's soccer team has some pretty fun pregame rituals. As a team, before every game in the locker room, we listen to the same 3 songs to get us pumped up, and it's right before we go out on the field for the game.
Everyone plays a big part in before game day, getting everyone pumped up. Harrington as well, senior team captain. plays a big role in that, and everyone works together and just pumps up each other.
So before each game, we read a motivational poster that's written in our locker room, and the last lines are, play the game, make it count. We do this, and then coach comes in, and then we go out.
Before each game, Katie and I Normatech together.
And we also take a game day selfie.
While the Mustangs didn't have the start they were hoping for in conference play, they are relying on their team chemistry and bond to get them back on track in the final games of the season.
This year, this team has a really strong team chemistry, and everyone's super close. We're all best friends, and which definitely helps on the field and off the field, because you can tell on the field that we know how to communicate with each other, and that definitely helps our game.
As well as having great team chemistry, this year we also have a lot of great talent, some young talent, as well as some, senior players that are really making a difference. And so I think that's really going to help us be successful in our last few games.
Okay, so me and Mary play center back together. So before each half, we give each other like a handshake and hug each other and say I love you as a last thing to just know that we have each other's back.
We always have each other's back. It's just a little last moment, like no matter what happens on the field, we have each other's back.
As conference play really takes off these last 5 games of the season, the team's dynamics will truly be tested.
For Campus Connect, this is SMU's Emma Kate Hughes.
There are other people just like you, driven, determined, those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
The University of South Florida's women's soccer team is off to a blazing start. Winning their opening conference game against East Carolina University, they show no signs of slowing down.
We are a young team and we are full of freshmen, so as you can see, we're trying to develop the chemistry, the team chemistry, so that we can achieve whatever we want to achieve. One of the goals is to just go and get the ring. That is our first goal that we are trying to accomplish as a team, and to be either top 5 in American Conference. Everyone care for everyone. Like, we make sure that whatever I get from it, my teammate get the same thing from it.
The USF women's soccer team has 24 underclassmen this year. Sophomore Evelyn Vienne speaks about team challenges, achievements, and accomplishments.
Everyone is coming together. Everyone learns. We're just a young team. We want to improve all the time. So the chemistry is pretty good. We have fun. We hang out of the locker room too. So the chemistry is really good. Every game is hard, but we just need to learn from every game and take it positively. We want to play. We want to win every game. We just need to improve every week. We need to improve and be ready for the next game. Every team in the conference is so good. No game is going to be easy. But it's sure that we want to hold the championship and win it at home.
Earlier this season, head coach Denise Schulte-Brown earned her 200th career win against East Carolina University. Associate head coach Chris Brown speaks on her career milestone.
Being a part of the 200th win for Denise, and obviously for USF and the past program she's been with, I think it's just part of the journey. I think we look back at not so much the 200th one, but it's just what it took to get there. I think our girls have done a very good job of being resilient. We've gone down in a lot of matches and come back to tie, in some cases win those matches. When we set up the schedule for this fall, we purposely made it quite difficult, knowing that we were going to have a young team but talented, and we wanted to test them early so that as we move through in their career and we get older and more experienced by their play, that we're going to be more successful when it matters.
Here at the University of South Florida with Campus Connect, I'm Rachel O'Neill.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
At SMU, students and faculty work hand in hand to shape answers to real-world challenges.
Yes, there's no such thing as a lesser person.
How can we strengthen human rights around the world?
It turns out computer malware is extremely...
How do we prevent cyber terrorism?
The limb comes off.
How can the human body set new records of performance? What can presidents teach us about leadership? From the SMU campus in Dallas, we're shaping the answers that will shape the future of the world.
There are other people just like you, driven, determined, those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
Welcome back to the campus of UCF for this first semifinal between the 6th seed SMU and the number 2 seed USF, as it's the Bulls who have a slight advantage over the Mustangs thanks to a brilliant individual effort from Evelyn Vian. And with that, we welcome you back inside of the booth during halftime. Tyler Terrens along with Matt Stubbington. And for SMU, it's their first goal given up in over 450 minutes of soccer. And if you are Chris Petrucelli's side, how do you respond in the second half?
Well, the important thing for the SMU Mustangs is that they have to find a way to match the physical capacity of the Bulls. USF play a very physical game. It's difficult to compete against, and the Mustangs, quite frankly, have to match that or beat it if they're going to get back into this game.
And if you're USF, is it more of the same? Is there anything that they need to tweak heading into the second 45 minutes?
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They're playing really well. Again, they're winning those 50-50 balls. The goal itself was a great example of the way that USF do play the game of soccer. Great individual effort, physical play from Vian, and then just a brilliant finish.
SMU upset Cincinnati in the quarterfinal by a score of 1-0. They're going to need at least a goal to possibly get the equalizer here on the campus of UCF. And for South Florida, they didn't have to play on Wednesday. They got to buy into the semifinal by getting the 2 seed. They earned that right due to a gaudy record in conference play, 7-1-1, drawing UCF on the last regular season game of the season. And now here they are in the semis with a chance to possibly get to the championship game. They will take on the winner of UCF and Memphis, which is going to take place at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on the campus of UCF, also right here on the American Digital Network. And with that, we are going to step aside for another quick break, but stay with us. Second half kickoff is right around the corner on the American Digital Network.
At SMU, students and faculty work hand in hand to shape answers to real-world challenges.
Yes, there's no such thing as a lesser person.
How can we strengthen human rights around the world?
It turns out computer malware is extremely...
How do we prevent cyber terrorism?
The limb comes off.
How can the human body set new records of performance? What can presidents teach us about leadership? From the SMU campus in Dallas, we're shaping the answers that will shape the future of the world.
There are other people just like you, driven, determined, those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
Minutes away from second half kickoff between SMU and USF, and standing pitch side with the head coach of SMU, Chris Petrucelli, is Haley Outen. Haley?
Coach, it seemed like in the first half your team had some trouble getting out defensively. What changes do you look to make here in the second half to hopefully get your offense going?
Yeah, we got a couple of things we're going to have to switch around a little bit and maybe change our shape a little bit to try to get something going forward. But honestly, I thought we looked tired, and rightfully so, I guess.
Obviously lost a couple of players to injuries in the first half. How do you think that will motivate your team, just kind of playing for those guys while they're not in the game?
Well, let's hope that's what happened. Let's hope it doesn't scare them, because they went down pretty hard, both of those guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great work as always, Haley. As you get a look there at Robin Maurer, she went down, and then about a few minutes later, it was Haley Bishop who went down for the Mustangs as well, and both of those injuries happened within about 5 minutes of each other, and now the Mustangs have to respond. You heard Chris Petrucelli mentioning that they might have to change up their shape a little bit. What could that look like?
Well, it's going to be interesting. They play a 4-3-3. Defensively, it becomes a 4-5-1. I probably would look to them, perhaps maybe take one of those defenders out and increase the presence in the midfield area. Try and win that battle in the midfield so you can then put keep that extra player up top to put the back line of the balls under some pressure. If the Mustangs are able to force the errant passes in their attacking half, and hopefully for Mustang fans it'll be in the Mustangs attacking third, then perhaps they can get a good look at Elliott's goal for USF, which hasn't happened so far in this match for the Mustangs.
And for SMU, it's not only getting the work done on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively they have the tall task of trying to stop, or maybe rather just trying to contain Evelyn Vienne, who already has the lone tally in this one and 10 more to go along with it this season. How can you hope to maybe just lock up Vienne for a little bit and make sure that she's not devastating you for maybe a second or a third goal in the second half?
Well, she just seems to find a way to get the job done, and that opportunity that she took, it just seemed like she was upset about something and was going to take the game on her shoulders, so to speak, and did a great job of winning the ball back. But the two center backs for SMU, have to just keep playing the way they've been playing. They've done a pretty good job of winning the ball, but they have to learn the lesson from the goal that was scored against the Mustangs. You have to release it quicker. Don't get caught in possession cheaply, which is what happened, and that was because of the effort of Vienne and led to the goal.
Well, for USF, it might be a little of unfinished business, if you will, for Coach Denise Schulte-Brown's side as they fell in the semifinals to UConn in 2016 by a score of 2-0. On the other side for SMU, they're looking to get back to the championship game. They lost to UConn by a score of 1-0 in the finals in 2016 as Chris Petrucelli's side are looking to find an equalizer here in the second half and keep their Cinderella story alive and turn to the next chapter, and hoping that their season doesn't come to an end here in Orlando. But having to deal with a very, very potent attacking USF side. And they've also looked strong defensively. SMU, while they've had a couple of half chances here and there from free kicks, they really haven't been able to get much going from the run of play.
They haven't. Cheyenne Dennis has played really well in the center-back role, and Kelly Burney, who's also the other center-back, we haven't talked about. But that's really testament to the fact that she's playing well and keeping things out of the defensive third for the Bulls.
And we are underway here at the campus of UCF, and right away Evelyn Vienne causing all sorts of problems. Sending it back for Kitching, freshman who started the match for Denise Schulte-Brown. Ball whipped in and fizzes across the goal. And right off the bat, USF starting the second half right where they left off in the first.
Difficult ball played in. Haley Thompson headed it, but not cleanly out. Ball's keeping things alive in their attacking third, and this ball fizzed in, and Katie Brown wasn't sure this was going past her post.
Good start for the Bulls. Mustangs on their heels already. And we heard Chris Petrucelli, the head coach of SMU, stating that he might have to change some things up a bit with regards to their shape and whatnot tactically. We'll wait to see if that becomes a reality or not. We'll be keeping a close eye on that back line for the Mustangs. SMU in the red and blue jerseys. USF in the all-white with the green stripes across. As we flip-flop sides here in the second half. Katie Brown coming up to take the free kicks, as she so often does for Chris Petrucelli. Very strong leg, more than capable of sending it into the area. Another great ball in. Hamrick lining it up for the defensive header. She gets there first. Sent up the line by McGrath. Evelyn Vienne, 1v1 with Heron. Trying to take that big touch around her, but Heron read it the entire way. Vienne still able to keep it in play. Cooley trying to go out wide for Nashmi. And Vienne causing more and more problems for this SMU back line. And it's not just tonight that she's been doing it. It's the entire almost 2 years of her career so far. 27 goals. This team all conference a year ago. 8 American Rookie of the Year. Tied the school record for goals in a season with 16, as well as 4 assists as a freshman. Sophomore from Canada. Absolute steal for Denise Schulte-Brown and this USF coaching staff. Sabrina Wagner ripping up the far side. Going out wide for Kitching. Kitching cutting up Cooley. Still Kitching towards the byline. Kitching with a great move. Kitching into the box. McGrath with the touch and eventually saved by Katie Brown. But Kitching taking on the entire defense of SMU and almost getting a second for the Bulls.
Well, that's one of those moments that Coach Shelty Brown was frustrated with in the first half. Deep into the box was Kitching. A great individual effort from her. Needs to find a way to find those players at the penalty box. McGrath was there, but at that point the space had been closed down by the back line of the Mustangs, and even though it was a good attack inside the box, it was a great defensive effort that kept that one at bay.
Can't understate the tackle made by Isabel Nashmi, probably a goal-saving tackle, but she was in the right place at the right time defensively. It would have been tough for Kitching to maybe have a shot there. The angle was certainly acute. Ocean Parr, one of the 3 seniors in his USF starting lineup. Running Hamrick, another senior. On Thorpe. Pressure from SMU. Fortuitous bounce for the Bulls, and they're able to come out of pressure. Header from Nashmi. Thorpe and Parr get tangled up, and the referee pointing in favor of USF.
A little bit frustrating right now for the Mustangs. Just losing a balance there, and the momentum took her into the legs of Parr.
Ernie, big switch over for Wagner, who is in acres of space. Nice little 1-2 with Elatier La Roche out wide for Kitching, but the flag is up on the near side. And we're seeing on the near side here, Robin Maurer being ushered off the field in a stretcher. Certainly not a good sign for SMU or Robin Maurer, for that matter. And as we mentioned before, speedy recovery for Robin as she's moving forward. Moving forward on the other end is USF. McGrath sending it in. Second ball, Thorpe is able to get there. Patience here from the Mustangs as Nashmi waited a bit too long. USF forced them into another turnover.
Possession is good, but the passes are all negative. Keeps the possession and the pressure on the back line for the Mustangs. At some point, Tyler, it would be better just of a Gary Owen clearance up the field to see if Allred can get on the end of it.
Here's Allred linking up with Mary Meehan. Meehan with numbers the other way. However, her switch behind Harrington, a little bit too far in front of Cooley and out of play.
Too square on the pass, needs to lead the runner down the pitch.
Ball over the top, Brown off of her line. And for SMU, they haven't seen a ton of the ball possession-wise in the attacking third. That is, they've had spells where they're swinging it along their own back line. Is it sometimes almost an anxious play when you see that big switch like that, where you have numbers going the other way, but the pass just isn't there?
Absolutely. You have to just be patient a little bit, pose yourself. And that's the big challenge of the game of soccer, is that you're trying to compete and trying to be in the moment, but you also have to step back and have the composure to complete the skill that you're trying to attempt. And it's such a fine line between success and failure at times that it can be very frustrating as a player.
Well, it was one moment of brilliance from Allie Thornton in the quarterfinal. Would take just that to try to get back into this game. It's only a 1-goal deficit, but it's USF who have been knocking on the door rather consistently throughout the first half and the beginning moments of the second. Already 7 minutes into the second half. For Isabel Nashmi. Thorpe trying to return for Nashmi. Ocean Parr read it the entire way. Well, maybe would have better served the Mustangs if Thorpe turned upfield.
Players on her right as well, open. Stayed on the near sideline.
Or big ball towards the back post. Hawksdaughter Great little misdirection play to lose Oates and Thorpe along the way. Vienne applying the pressure now. Stoner once more for Jessica Hamrick. Parlong for Bernie. Mentioned we didn't call her name out all that much, and as you said, a credit to the midfield of USF for making sure their center backs aren't the center of attention, if you will. Bernie, a sophomore from Hewletton, Virginia. Vienne getting away from Heron initially. Still Vienne. Finally poked away. She really is a true striker. She's always looking to take on that defender who's on her back. She's not really interested in linking up play or setting it back for a teammate. She wants to go right to goal.
Absolutely. So positive with her touch, which is great to see in today's game. You see so many negative touches away from goal. It can be frustrating as a fan because you're looking and seeing what seems to be an opportunity to go forwards, and the play always comes back because possession is such a key part of today's game. At the end, she's got one thing on her mind. She knows where the net is, and she wants to get the ball there as quickly as she can.
Again, trying to turn the corner and ended up getting double teamed. There's a long range effort, just a little bit wide from Pelletier La Roche. Good idea, however, from the Canadian. As you were talking about it, Matt, first touch is so vitally important, not only for a striker, but the players around the field. As we take a look at that shot that just fizzes wide to that far post, and look at some of the best players in the game today, the Alex Morgans, the Kristen Presses, the Martzes. All of their first touches are just so unbelievably technical and sublime in the way that they set up their first touch to where they want to go, and Vienne seems to have something of that nature, maybe not of the caliber of a Marta or a Presses. USF trying to play quickly from the free kick. The referee's going to bring it back.
Well, the kick was not taken in the spot that the foul happened. Confusion in the back line for the Mustangs, and tug of the shirt there from Oates. Shoved to the ground from Oates. That progressed beyond the shirt tug. A good opportunity here for the Bulls on the set piece. Something that you want your team to concede.
The referee, Casio Ribeiro, has not gone to his pocket just yet. Nobody in his book for the moment. Hawksdaughter trying a little design set piece, but out of the reach of Vienne.
Some of the set pieces from Hawksdaughter have not been of the quality that I'd expect from her. Very talented player. Been watching her pretty closely. I don't think she's used her left leg the entire match. Be as good as she is with just her right foot is pretty extraordinary.
Pitching over the top. It's going to end up working out perfectly for McGrath. Again at the back post. Pitching arriving as well, but the cross will never arrive. And a goal kick for Katie Brown.
You're talking about the professional players in the NWSL, and Alex Morgan, Presley, Marta. They all have that physical speed, but it's the technical speed as well. I'm a great believer, and why soccer is such a great game is that you don't have to be a physical specimen necessary to play it. You have to be fast enough physically to cope with the speed of the game, but you can also improve other facets. If you can improve your technical speed and your tactical speed, that can make up for a lack of physical speed. And some of the best players in the world have all of that going for them.
You look at somebody like Sam Mewis, a rising star for the U.S. women's national team. You know, she's blessed with height. You know, she's about 6'2", 6'3", but by no means blazing speed or unbelievable quickness. But her first touch is so good that it allows her to do things on the field that some of the players who do have the blazing speed, like Alex Morgan, possibly could never do.
Absolutely. And then she also reads the game so well as well. So, again, three facets of speed in the game of soccer. And Mewis has two of those really down well.
Katie Brown into the box. Claire Oates lining it up, but there again is Jess Hamrick. She's won the aerial battle for sure for USF as far as the middle of the field is concerned. Ashmead Can't quite connect the dots. She's showed signs of encouraging play, Isabel Nashmi. Once she gets into the attacking third, hasn't really been able to connect with teammates. The end showing a bit too much of that. Gordon will keep it, but it came at a price as she caught a stud late in that challenge. Heron with a great sliding effort. And Ocean Parham will watch it go out of bounds. Just about to mention that there haven't been any substitutions made yet. The first 14 minutes of the second half, and right on cue, Kylie Burrows running over to the scores table to check in.
Mustang's doing a pretty good job of keeping the play on the near side of the field there. The offensive runs from the forward Allred, taking away those passing options, the switching of the point of attack that the Bulls were able to do throughout the first half. In the end, they weren't able to keep possession in the left back position.
And now Burrows will come onto the field.
Substitution USF.
She will replace McGrath. Another solid shift for McGrath, and the NCAA rules, not allowed re-entry in the first half, but second half you are. So I'm sure we'll see McGrath later on.
Coleman goes over the byline for a goal kick. There was a very fast player on the flank for the Bulls. A couple of talking tos by referee Ribeiro in the first half.
Have to imagine that her next infraction is going to result in a card. He was involved in the challenge that sent Haley Bishop off the field. Thorpe was through Burrows. Up again. Heron scrambling to find an option, just has to send it out of bounds. Good pressure from USF.
You hear the coaching staff from USF saying no switch, no switch, no switch. He did a good job. Even though the switch was allowed, the pass was a negative one into the right back position for the Mustangs. And consequently, the Bulls were able to put additional pressure on and force the ball out of bounds on the far sideline.
Siebold comes on, Kitching comes off. Katie Kitching has been wildly efficient for this USF club. 5 shots and 2 goals to her name as the offside flag is up on the near side. Hannah Siebold comes on. Shared junior from Tampa. Goal and assist this season. Already 15 minutes into the second half. Can we expect that change, the shape change from Chris Petroselli anytime soon?
I think subtly it's happened a little bit because Allred and Meehan are playing up top alongside each other as a 2-player front. There's only 4 players in the midfield for the Mustangs at the moment. The next step in that change would be to take one of the defenders out of the mix and add them to the midfield area, try and balance the numbers a little bit in that part of the pitch.
Ocean Parr committed forward. USF could be exposed. Mary Meehan trying to take advantage of it. Meehan into the box. Loose and now finally collected by Kat Elliott, but that's very encouraging from SMU, and USF needs to be careful with their outside backs pushing up that high.
You've got to be careful on the challenge. If you're going to go, you have to make sure you get on the end of the ball. A little divot flew there as Meehan passed that ball into the box with her left peg. And I like the fact that Harrington was there across the face of the goalkeeper to make life difficult for Elliott. In the end, the keeper for USF did well to get that at the second attempt. So important for the attacker to run across the face of the goalkeeper.
Here's Siebold after a great ball through. They'll stay with the Bulls. A couple of substitutions getting ready to come on for Denise Schulte-Brown. Going to be Leah Furlan, freshman from Jacksonville, as well as Bree Blethen, sophomore from Bradenton, coming on and replacing Ocean Parr, as well as Evelyn Vienne. So Vienne will get a breather here, but I'm sure we'll see her again sometime soon. Levin. For Bernie. Hamrick. Ashby, pressured by Burrows. Burrows been a pest along this SMU back line all game so far. And she's able to win a throw-in.
That's an illustration there of the tiredness that Coach Petroselli mentioned at halftime from his team. Ball was won by SMU, but there was nothing going forwards. No movement from the Mustangs to allow an outlet pass, and in the end, the Bulls won the ball back very easily.
Levin into the box. It was handled poorly at the back from Heron. Could have been disastrous for SMU. It was just wide of the post. It will be a corner.
Surprised Katie Brown didn't try and claim that one. Maybe she was anticipating the run of a ball player across her face, but in the end, it was Heron had cleared that ball, reaching for it. You and I have both seen those go in the back of the net. A defender out of balance, out of whack, deflecting the ball goalward.
University of Florida fell victim to that in the SEC tournament. Great ball sent in by Hawksdaughter. Oates got there first. Comes back out. Shot in front, blocked. Still an opportunity here. Seabolt. It's a nasty challenge over on the far side. Seabolt is claiming that she used her shoulder. Referee's not interested. It's going to be a free kick the other way.
She's right. She used her shoulder. Big physical challenge there. But the arm came up as well. And that's why the whistle was blown against Seabolt. Again, that's an illustration of the strength of the Bulls and how they get their center of gravity low, anticipating the challenge.
That was how VN scored her goal during this match. Just shedding Heron off of the ball and then eventually knocking it off the post and in, as Heron will concede another deep throw-in. About 25 minutes remaining in this first semifinal between the 6th seed SMU and the number 2 seed USF, currently ranked 25th in the country and hold a 1-0 lead over the Mustangs. It's to Evelyn Vienn's 11th goal of the season and 27th of her career. Very indicative of the type of player that she is. Certainly a two-way striker, more than capable of applying pressure to any back line, but has really been terrorizing this SMU one tonight. Hawksdaughter. Much better ball towards the back post. Hamrick was waiting for it. And the assistant referee warning a free kick the other way for the Mustangs.
Seabolt again involved in the challenge. Bring a Mustang player to the ground. The last two services on the corner kicks from Hawksdaughter have been much better from her. Criticize her in the first half in some of her selection of services.
She heard you. Hawksdaughter with 8 assists on the season. Full-blown Iceland national team player. 18 games started as a freshman. Into the all-rookie American team in 2016, and here she is, Hawksdaughter on top of the ball now. To be stepped to, still Hawksdaughter. Finally, Nashmi meets her with a great challenge. That eventually cleared away by Thompson.
Good job from the center backs for the Mustangs to pressure, cover, and balance their defensive line.
That ball all the way out of bounds for another goal kick. We're about halfway through the second half, Matt, and have we seen improvements from SMU? Has it been a little bit better? Is there anything they can do differently to perhaps improve their chances of getting the equalizer?
Well, at the moment, they need to find a way to dig deep within themselves and get some energy through the team. Struggled to deal with the physicality of the Bulls. If they can just find something to get the adrenaline flowing, I think they might be able to find a way back into this game. We've had some moments of good possession, some moments of good passing. It's that adrenaline they need going forwards and movement off of the ball going forwards if they're going to be successful consistently with the attack.
There's a nice passage here. Thornton Couldn't handle the first touch. Now it's for Burrows. SMU trying to pin USF back in their own defensive third, and they do so beautifully. Gordon pressured by Pelletier-Laroche. Now USF looking to break on the counter. Sabrina Wagner leading the charge, being nipped out from behind. Still Wagner. Finally disrupted at the end by Thompson. However, USF do win a corner. And I'm sure that's going to be what we're seeing a lot more, is SMU pushing numbers forward, trying to push USF back, and then the Bulls with an opportunity on the counter.
It was good defensive shape from the Bulls. They just stood very compact defensively. Possession was good from the Mustangs going forwards, but it took too long to develop. The movement wasn't there. They couldn't find the entry pass into the attacking third. And in the end, the Bulls were able to just steal possession and start the counterattack.
Oxtoner on top of the corner once more. Another great delivery in. Seabold gets there first, nodded back across. Nashmi. Dennis. Pelletier-Laroche trying her efforts at a bicycle kick. Can't wind for Wagner. Oxtoner towards the middle. Lining it up and right at Katie Brown, but a good effort from the native of Iceland.
Strong right foot that she has. Puts that one on target. Tests the goalkeeper. Katie Brown, though, read it all the way. Gets the arms up nicely. Makes the save.
Nisa Ibrahim getting ready to come on for Denise Schulte-Brown. Leather. Running Pelletier-Laroche. Broken up by Thompson. It's Heron. The goal against the Bulls back in October.
There's a moment there that the Mustangs had possession on the back line, and Thompson looked up to see whether she had a release up the pitch. You have to trust yourself that you have the ability to serve the ball over the back line of the Bulls. Trust Allred has the pace to beat Ernie and Dennis and try and get into the attacking third. You've got to release the pressure somehow if you are the Mustangs.
Thompson. Emmerich able to break that up right at the entire way. Right back though, Allred, some good defensive work. SMU pushing a boatload of numbers forward. Here Chris Petruselli from the sideline of the Mustangs just saying go forward, go. With less than 19.5 minutes remaining in the Mustangs season if they can't find an equalizer. Great work from Meehan. Meehan with a left-footed effort. Oh, it wasn't a bad idea, but it just goes wide. And now a couple of substitutions to come on. And with more on USF, we'll head down to the third member of our crew, Haley Outen. Haley?
Well, this USF team has been extremely balanced this season. Obviously, Evelyn Vienne, 10 goals, 11 actually, as with today's, but the getting those first team all-conference honors. But when I talked to Coach Schulte-Brown before the game, she said, you know, for finishing in second place, just 1 point behind UCF, only 3 players got all-conference honors. So she was a little bit surprised, but she said, you know, I think that just means we're really solid all around and that coaches don't exactly know who to vote for because everybody's kind of playing their part this year. So a really well-balanced team this season, even though they're pretty young.
It's a lot, Haley, and there actually wasn't one unanimous selection amongst the end of the season year awards as far as the midfielder of the year, offensive player of the year. The only unanimous selection was Denise Schulte-Brown as the coach of the year, and that usually goes to the coach who ends up winning the conference regular season championship. And it just goes to show that there's so much good talent in the American, whether it's on Memphis, UConn, Cincinnati, Tulsa, ECU, University of Houston, what have you. And as she mentioned, USF maybe not exactly getting the credit that they deserve as Kylie Burrows applying more pressure and winning another throw-in for the Bulls. And USF continuing that fine pressure. Kitchen getting set to come back on for Denise Schulte-Brown.
Ashby trying to steal a little bit of the field. The assistant on this near sideline, pulling her back. This is where the ball has to go forwards. Thompson doesn't have the strongest right foot. You're an athlete at this level. You have to trust that you can use both legs, send the ball forwards.
It's through for Meehan. She's trying to beat Dennis for pace. Meehan into the box, but nobody is there for SMU except a late arriving Harrington, and Kat Elliott on cue scooping it up.
Meehan showing a burst of speed. I give a little bit of a missed justice, or injustice I should say, to Meehan on Wednesday, thinking she wasn't as quick as she has shown in the second half of that game on Wednesday, and also on occasions tonight. But Sheehan Dennis is also very fast as well. And that developed very quickly. The Mustang players couldn't get in support of their number 7.
SMU will play short. Haley Thompson on it now. Out wide for Nashmi, but she won't be able to get there. A couple substitutions getting ready to come on for USF, the number 2 seed and number 25 team in the country. And with that, we'll hear a little bit more about Mary Meehan from Haley Outen.
Well, SMU is starting to find a little bit of rhythm offensively here. Mary Meehan taking it down the sideline. Coach said yesterday that she is one of the fastest players on this SMU team, maybe so fast that when she gets down to the end line, the rest of her teammates aren't really there to help her in order to finish in the box. So Coach just gave her instructions that if she gets down there and there's nobody waiting, put your foot on the ball and relax.
Good work as always, Haley, and just as Haley mentioned, we saw an instance of that as there's a hard foul on Claire Oates. Meehan was so far down the sideline, and Harrington wasn't able to get there in time.
Absolutely, and it's the tough thing to do as a player is to be composed enough on the ball so that you can then slow things down and allow your teammates to come up and support you. Especially in a situation like this, you're down 1-0, 15 minutes or so to go in the game. It's very difficult to maintain that composure. You mentioned UF in the SEC going out to Texas A&M, but head coach Becky Burley for UF always talks about marrying the intensity of the game with the composure of the game is probably one of the biggest challenges for any soccer player.
Less than 15.5 minutes remaining. As it stands, it'll be the Bulls heading to the championship game, the 2017 American Women's Soccer Championship. Katie Brown will collect that, and SMU are really going to start to have to open things up with 15 minutes remaining. We're to see the outside backs, Isabel Nashmi as well as Jess Cooley on the far side. Starting to creep up a little bit higher, leaving Heron as well as Haley Thompson extremely exposed at the back. Nashmi fighting her way through. Balance there from Ibrahim, and a free kick going the other way.
Let's see what the Mustangs do with this free kick. Coach Petroselli was very frustrated with the last set piece from this location. Service didn't come into the box.
Great delivery this time. Goes back out for Meehan. Fleet trying to send it in, and it will be a throw-in for the Mustangs.
Supposed to go short on the initial free kick, and then Thompson was able to drive it forwards. The ball's under some pressure. Look at the strength there of Vian, just to back into the player. Thompson making room for herself, reading the flight of the ball, allowing it to bounce in front of her purely and simply from manhandling Thompson backwards.
Well, Vian's not exactly working a slouch here. Haley Thompson, one of the better defenders in the American, and part of a defense that was on a streak of not having let in a goal for over 450 minutes of play. It just goes to show how talented and how strong Vian is. SMU trying to create problems in the middle of the field. They end up doing so. Mary Meehan trying to use that speed, looking to send it out wide for Harrington. Assistant referee saying last touch was off of SMU.
Borgsdorfer trying to change the point of attack, just fell over the ball, creating that turnover that the Mustangs weren't able to take advantage of. Very close to being a pick six.
Didn't think you knew that term.
I think I've been around the country long enough to pick it up. Not sure what it means sometimes. But
we're right next to Spectrum Stadium here at UCF, so I guess you're just breathing in the influence of one of the best football teams in the country.
Certainly having a very, very successful season.
17th in the country last time we checked. Dennis trying to work her way up the sideline, and again you can see the pressure from SMU starting to build up. They are throwing everything forward in a single elimination format. Certainly is the recipe when down a goal. USF on the move. Great work here. Sent across, VN with her back to goal, looking to turn to make something happen. It's off the crossbar again. And Brown finally able to collect it. Second crossbar of the night for Evelyn VN.
Oh, she's got a right foot. There's a lot of power behind it. She's got a left foot that's got a lot of power behind it. Turned really well in the box, cracked the shot, and I think goalkeeper Brown might have got a finger to that one. Either way, it's off the crossbar, and that would have been all she wrote, I think, if the Bulls were able to get on the score sheet a second time in this match.
Pelletier LaRoche trying to rid Allie Thornton. Great awareness from Pelletier LaRoche. Doesn't really get a ton of credit in the middle of the field, as we'll take another look at that blast from Evelyn VN.
Goalkeeper did save it. Fantastic effort from Brown. Beautiful Cruyff turn from the end to open that shooting lane for herself. Puts it on target with the left foot, but the goalkeeper was there. In the point of the triangle, making the shooting lane small. Got her hands up just in the nick of time for the save.
Oates with a big ball across. Harrington couldn't bring it down. Ibrahim. Round Cooley. You can see USF becoming much more direct in the way that they play, knowing that SMU is exposed at the back. Here's Evelyn VN. It's a 2-on-1. Still VN. She'll go for goal. Great save from Katie Brown to keep the Mustangs in the game.
Exactly what you need from your goalkeeper. Step up in big moments. Again, took her play wide under the pressure. Couldn't get a clear angle on the shot. But the goalkeeper, again, good footwork to get across. Even better footwork to make the save.
Meehan looking to make something happen on the other end. Bernie with some great defending. She can't keep it in play, however, and another throw-in for SMU. Box-to-box action here on the campus of UCF. Mustangs scrambling for an equalizer. USF desperately trying to hang on for a spot in the championship game on Sunday. Nashmi trying to send it across. It's a dangerous square ball in the middle of the field. The end brings it down for Ibrahim. And it'll eventually go back all the way to Katie Brown, coming off of that spectacular save, or two saves, I should say, at the slightest of touches on that end shot that eventually hit the crossbar. Wagner trying to send it up the sideline. USF is trying to see this one out as Kylie Burrows is going to come back onto the field.
Substitution USF, 33, Kylie Burrows.
Looking at the Mustangs players, they trying to find a way to get the energy level up. But there's a lot of hands on hips and hands on heads, trying to get as much oxygen into their lungs as they can while the ball's out of play.
We talked about it during pregame and a couple of times during this broadcast. The question is who has more of the advantage, the team who's coming off of the win and has already played in the tournament, or the team who's a little bit more rested? And it looks like for the moment the answer to that question is the team who's a little bit more rested.
Absolutely, especially as physically demanding of a team that the Bulls are to play against. Not only dealing with the effort of running in the game of soccer, you're also dealing with the physicality and the challenges that the Bulls put forth.
Dangerous free kick here for USF, looking for their insurance goal. Low delivery, cleared away by Haley Thompson. Tia Novi with a penetrating pass. Long ball sent ahead. Elliott off of her line. Not going to reach the penalty area, and Elliott just forced to send it out of bounds, so good work from SMU. As Allred coming onto the field and making some sort of tactical motion to her teammates, and it looked like SMU might go to 3 at the back.
Well, it looks like that has been the decision made by Coach Petroselli. I like that ball played forwards moments ago by the Mustangs. It was a searching ball diagonally across the pitch.
And a corner coming up for the Mustangs, and the SMU faithful can start to sense a equalizer on the horizon. Chris Petroselli looking on and hoping that his side can continue this fantastic run. It would be the highest seed ever to reach the championship game if they can somehow pull out an equalizer and escape this very talented USF side. Allred into the box, punched away by Elliott. And it needed to be, as it was a teasing ball. Burrows with the sliding challenge, gets a touch to it, but it'll stay with the Mustangs.
Well, Elliott won't get credit for a save because it wasn't a shot on target, but that was a very important moment from the goalkeeper of the Bulls to punch that ball clear.
Look at the pace from Vienne, trying to beat Thompson. Evelyn Vienne can't get around Brown. Katie Brown will not let this USF side get their insurance goal. She continues to give her teammates a chance.
And her stellar play in net for the Mustangs inspire the team to go forwards and get that tying goal. Fantastic save again from the Mustangs goalkeeper. Brilliant turn of speed from Vienne to get past the back line. Just ended up losing control of the ball just a moment, and that was enough that Brown needed.
Burrows finding Vienne, looking to turn, back for Kitching. Kitching lining up a shot, blocked in front by Claire Oates. Still not out of the woods. Kitching into space for Burrows. Lethen was looking to get involved and thinks better of it, and it's going to end up being a goal kick.
Thompson did just enough to force Vienne off stride, and that allowed Brown the opportunity she needed to corral that ball. Great moment from both players, but it was the goalkeeper that came off best on that occasion.
Less than 5 minutes remaining. Thornton sends it forward, hoping Allred will be able to make something of it. Back for Thornton in the middle of the field. Her and Wagner collide. No call from the referee. Thornton trying to muscle off the freshman Kitching. Great battle on the far side, sent into the near post. It almost fell nicely for Mary Meehan. Oh, Ibrahim and Cooley tangled up, goes out wide for Kitching.
Closure on the ball from Ibrahim to get that ball and release the pressure for the moment for the Bulls.
And it is going to be a free kick for USF. Call probably could have gone either way, but Jessica Cooley committing the foul. And it'll allow the Bulls to maybe knock some seconds off of the clock and get some numbers forward.
Lunging tackle there from Cooley, and as Wagner got up, little wry smile back towards her teammates, and that these going to be some important seconds taken away from the Mustangs. Coach Petroselli instructing the defense to take away the corner flag, because that's exactly where the balls have gone, to try and waste that time.
SMU able to escape that corner and then win a throw-in. Deep into desperation time for the Mustangs. USF clinging on to a 1-goal lead. Evelyn Vienne with the lone tally. Sent over the top. Vienne thought for a moment she was going to be offside, and now the flag is going to go up.
Frustrating there for the Mustangs and Coach Petroselli that the whistle came so late. The way the offside rule is at the moment in today's game is whistle's not blown, the flag doesn't go up until the player becomes truly involved in the play.
Left along the line. Fleet trying to get there. Bernie is there first. With a reckless challenge there from Haley Thompson. The referee says it wasn't that reckless. The USF bench claiming that it should have been a USF throw-in nonetheless. Burrows trying to get around Thompson. Stay with the Mustangs. A little more than 2 minutes remaining. McGrath checking back into the game for the final. 110 seconds or so.
So Abraham did a good job in her shift that she pulled in this second half. Helped control the center of the pitch for the Bulls.
Throwing down the line from Bledden. It won't stay in play. Time winding down on the Mustang season. Maybe just a couple of more chances, but USF rather doing a very good job of not allowing the Mustangs to get any sort of rhythm or head up field. Katie Brown's going to put it down on the deck. Up to long, Katia Novi trying to get there. Harrington providing the pressure. Hawksdaughter keeps it brilliantly for USF. Jessica Cooley now.
1 minute to play.
Okay. 60 seconds remaining. VN dragging it upfield. Last touch is going to be off of Heron. It'll be a USF throw-in. UCF and Memphis set to kick off at 7 as they start to make their way into the complex. VN holding off Cooley. Precious seconds knocking off the clock now. That'll be a foul going the other way. SMU needs to operate quickly. USF standing in front of the ball. The clock's going to be stopped now. As the referee is going to force USF out of the way. Eventually cleared by Claire Oates. Hawksdaughter goes back for Bernie and she just thumps it the other way. Katie Brown will collect it.
10, 9,
10 seconds remaining.
7,
SMU desperately trying to get there, but it's not going to happen. USF, redeeming themselves after their semifinal loss last year, are headed to the championship match on Sunday. Evelyn VN's tally proves to be enough as Denise Schulte-Brown and her crew are headed off for a chance at the American Championship trophy. Matt Stubbington, your thoughts?
Well, it was a wonderful individual goal that highlighted a good, competent team performance from the USF Bulls. They're a very tough team to play against. They bring a very physical brand of the game to the pitch. Tough to play against, as I said. But for me, Vienne is the difference maker. She had that moment of brilliance that was the difference in the game.
Final score here from the campus of UCF. USF 1, SMU 0. We'll be back in just a moment with post-game interviews. Stay with us.
There are other people just like you. Driven, determined. Those who use passion to spark creation. Others who are ready to unite and discover together. It all starts with you and continues with us, the University of South Florida.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
USF advancing to the championship game on Sunday by a score of 1-0 over SMU, and standing pitch side with the goal scorer Evelyn VN is Haley Outen. Haley?
Evelyn, congratulations on the win today. A couple of crossbars for you and the goal, the deciding goal. What was this game like? How are you feeling out there in the first game of the conference tournament?
I'm sure that last week we came here, we tied against UCF. We wanted to host. I mean, we're still in Florida, so it's good. I mean, we did a good game. I think we just need to get ready for Sunday, and we want to win conference. So.
You guys have a young team in general. You're a sophomore, but a ton of freshmen and new players this year contributing. How has that kind of impacted, maybe taking a little bit of the pressure off you to not have to maybe score every single goal?
I mean, this year I still score because of my winger. My winger are amazing. They run everywhere. They do the work for me. If I score, it's because of them. So I think that our strength right now is the bench. We are such a strong bench. 6 forward play today, so I think it's the team win.
Your team missed the conference championship last season. What does it mean to you to finally get to play in this conference tournament for a chance at a title?
I mean, we want to win. UCF is just winning, so we want to win a conference next Sunday and just go in NCAA tournament and go far.
All right, thanks a lot. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Sunday, rather. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Haley, as Evelyn VN with her 11th goal of the season, 27th of her career. And now standing pitch side with the head coach of USF is Haley Outen once again. Haley?
Coach, your squad was able to hang on and pull off that 1-0 win. What did you see out there in the second half, and why was your team able to ultimately prevail in the end today?
You know, I give a lot of credit to Coach Petroselli. Just the switch of system to the 4-4-2 diamond obviously threw us off a little bit, and I think we didn't really expose the weak side as well as we could have. So disappointing, but I mean, how great was their goalkeeper? Probably robbed Evelyn 3 times. So, you know, they kept us on the toes the whole time, and no ability to rest players. Really proud of the girls, and now it's just about recovery. And yeah, we've been talking about a championship all year, so now they have the opportunity to go for it.
Not a ton of dangerous opportunities for SMU today. How proud were you of your defensive effort to pull off this shutout here in the semifinals?
I thought they were very brave, great, positioning for each other. Yeah, there wasn't a lot in behind that first player, so we were able to maintain, I thought, good control of the game. I was really proud of them.
So your team missed a trip to the finals last year, and with such a young team, with so many new faces, most of your players haven't played in a conference championship game yet.
Yeah.
What are you expecting on Sunday as your team has a chance to win a conference title?
You know, I expect the very best from them. They've been preparing really hard. I think physically we're peaking, which is what you want to do at this time. And, we're a good team. It's hard to beat a good team twice. So, they're going to have to give us everything. And, it's just going to be a great game. It always is.
All right, we'll see you out here on Sunday, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, as always, Haley. USF heading back to the conference championship for the first time since 2015, where they lost in the finals. This year, they're looking to turn it around. SMU's Cinderella story comes to an end as they fall to USF by a score of 1-0. The Bulls are off to the championship, which will be played on Sunday on ESPN News. For our broadcast team, Matt Stubbington and the third member of our crew, Haley Outen, and our entire team, I'm Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. Memphis and UCF coming up next here on the American Digital Network.
Okay. Am I still doing this or no? Okay.